Hello and welcome everyone to the long-awaited Core Gundam Cosmetic compilation, where I will be showing off the standard Core Gundam armors on all standard Core Gundams and the core hangars, as well as talking about their basic features and hypothesizing the background of their names. Keep in mind that the following combinations only consist of Core Gundams and armors in standard releases and colors, so no special colors like the Grand Cross Cannon version and any limited editions. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Firstly, we have the Mercury Armor, named after Mercury because of the planet's Japanese name. Combination with the Core Hanger 2 is possible, and it doesn't look half bad that way. Armed with the water needle guns, underwater bits, and the fin zambers, and it's equipped with water jet units on the arms, the Mercury Gundam specializes in underwater combat. Personally, I prefer this armor the least due to the scuba mask with the awkward mouthpiece, but other than that, it is a long overdue inclusion in one's underwater Gunpla collection, and it only makes sense for the versatile Core Gundam to have one such form. Aesthetically, it works the best with the Titan's Core Gundam 2 for me, but what do you guys think? Next up, we have the Venus Armor. Combination with the Core Hanger 2 is possible, but keep in mind that the hover units collide with the leg armor. Named as such most probably from the firepower it passed that can create a blazing inferno as devastating as Venus's surface. Combining with the Core Gundam results in the V2 Gundam, tailored to bombardment and support with its various missile pods, beam cannon, and big beam bazooka. Aesthetically, this armor works on all Core Gundams, giving them long-range armaments and a teal outer shell, and neither the colors nor the design clashes heavily with any Core Gundam design, making it not only versatile in combat, but also in customization. I have no personal preference as to which Core Gundam looks the best with it, so it's down to you guys to discuss. Afterwards, we have the Earth Armor, named as such because Hiroto said so, but most likely due to its coloration being similar to Earth's oceans when viewed from space. On top of arming the Gundam up with a generic beam rifle and shield, the Earth 3 Gundam also gains access to its beam sabers, making for a general purpose combat type. If need be, the rifle and shield can combine for a charged shot, allowing the Earth 3 to not slack in firepower, melee capabilities, and defense. There's not much to say about it aesthetically, as it's even general purpose in the looks department. Even the different Core Hanger forms don't particularly stand out. However, I prefer the armor on the normal Core Gundam and Core Gundam 2. Still, there's no denying that it's just as versatile as the Venus armor in terms of aesthetic customization, apart from the lack of any flair or special features. Moving on, we have the Mars Armor, my second favorite. However, due to the Core Hanger 2 not having any pegs on its side, it will be impossible to store the Heat Rev Sword on the hanger unless you don't mind storing it horizontally on the backpack piece. Named after Mars for many reasons, including the red color scheme, the fire theme, and the swords alluding to the Roman god of war, it is evidently the standard melee armor. Apart from the aforementioned Heat Rev Sword, the Mars 4 Gundam is also armed with the Heat Rev Axe, which can combine with the sword to form the Hard Heat Rev Sword, the Slash Blades, which can combine with each other into the Overslash Blades on top of generating beam blades and firing beam shots of their own, and the shield units with built-in claws. Since this is a set of armor with warm colors, it doesn't work too well with Core Gundams that has a lot of cold colors, like the G3 Core Gundams and the Titan's Core Gundam 2. But still, it is a slightly modified Earth armor with more spikes. Moving on, we have the Jupiter Armor. The high speed mode of the armor can be created on both hangars, but that on the Core Hanger 2 requires improvisation, which creates a more than decent result. Named after Jupiter most probably due to the high thrust power and mobility that can rival Crossbone Gundams, while the use of bits can allude to the planet Jupiter having a large number of moons. The armor arms the Jupiter Gundam with the beam Gatling gun, mana for bits that can be used on the arms or shoulders or used remotely, and the multi-container bits on the back, which suspiciously has the same features as the Crossbone's brand markers apart from the ability to function remotely. Because of the white color scheme, it works with basically any Core Gundam apart from the Titan's Core 2 in my book, but being the space type, it definitely fits the build, and the whites can allow it to serve as a painting model for the Season 1 armors. Starting off Season 2 with the Saturn Armor, my favorite. Fitting the parts onto the core hanger 1 is possible, but all bulk would be lost. Plus the sockets for the feet will more often than not get caught with the front skirt extensions, so exercise caution. Named after Saturn, most likely from the tools being used for tampering with the ground, and the Saturnix being a ground type, which can stretch to the Roman god of agriculture. Armed simply with the breaker drill and vice pliers that can be used on the shoulders or on the arms. The Saturnix Gundam looks more like a construction suit at first glance, but the bulk of the armor, the little devil horns on the mask, combined with the mechanic driver and it being the Gundam frame buster, it's the demon to end all demons. Admittedly, it doesn't work too well with any other Core Gundam but the original Core Gundam 2, either due to colors clashing or the loss of the powerful feeling, but it's still my favorite among all the armors. Up next, the Uranus Armor. As per the Saturn Armor, it can be mounted onto the core hanger 1, but it would look weird as a result. Named after Uranus, from the Greek god of the skies, it complements the sensor bits that serves as the Uravan Gundam's eyes in the sky. On top of the aforementioned sensor bits mounted on the back and shoulders, it also has sensor units in the legs as a wired variant in the case the former got shot down, albeit with less range. Using the beam shoot rifle U7 that serves as both a beam and a sniper rifle, the Uravan Gundam can shoot down anyone it sees with or without its own eyes. The dark purple, or navy blue to some, can make the colors work on any Core Gundam save for the Rize, and the lack of any special grandeur enables the design to work with any Core Gundam. Rounding off the planets, the Neptune Armor. As before, combination with the core hanger 1 is possible with all the prior flaws. You could deploy the Vortier Lumiere system by flipping out the ring pieces on the top, extending and connecting those on the arms to the backpack, and tugging the bottom piece down to complete the ring. Named after Neptune probably from elimination, but it is also the farthest planet from the sun, and the Net 8 Gundam has the Vortier Lumiere system, which is for deep space travel. Coincidentally, the colors resemble Neptunium 5, but it doesn't mean too much in the grand scheme of things. Armed with the beam guns on its forearms, it still has some basic fighting capabilities in the event of an enemy attack. The elegance brought about by the mint color can really freshen up their display, and with the gold trims from the Vortier Lumiere system, the Net 8 Gundam can definitely stand out, and strangely enough, it works with all Core Gundams but Rize. With how heavily the show connects the Net 8 Gundam with Eve, only to have it serve it as rocket fuel and never name dropping the Gundam nor the planet, it has been done dirty. The Re-Rising Gundam needs no introduction and evidently couldn't be put onto the core hangers. Representing the sun, it is named as such probably due to symbolizing the sun rising again on a new day. It does work on all Core Gundams, but the V-fin of the Core Gundam 1 is too large to fit the extension in all the way, but it can rest finely on the slots. Armed with simply the Hyper Beam Sabers on the arms and the ability to summon the Grand Cross Cannon, it's nothing but a big buff with a ridiculous silhouette. Because of the armor size and mishmash of colors, it doesn't matter which Core Gundam you stick it in as it is not that significant of a change, but you do need to force the Aegis Knight legs open slightly for Alus to wear it, which I'd hope we'd never encounter or we'd be all dead by then. Speaking of Alus, here is the Alus Earthly Armor. It can be stored on both core hangers as long as you store the front skirts under the back skirt extension. There is also a thick peg on the core hanger 2 to store the head should you choose, or stick it at the back end of the core hanger 1. Armed with a rifle that can be charged with the arm's energy, it is named as such for obvious reasons. It works well on any Core Gundam, but particularly those in the darker color scheme like the Alus Core Gundam and the Titan's Core Gundam 2 because of their own dark color schemes. However, you'd have to take off the standard V-fins of the normal Core Gundams to put the one of the armor on, and while it's a little forceful, you can leave the head crest on with the extension equipped as well, which is a blessing you can glean from not making this a mask that goes over the standard Alus head, I suppose. Then we have the fake new armor. It's pretty unique looking for something that is a copy, and it can be stored onto the core hanger too with few complications. However, the leg armor won't fit in the compact core hanger 1, so it's completely impossible to store the armor on it. The uniqueness continues onto the docked form, the fake new Gundam, and because of the construction of the real life Gunpla, a twin fin funnel type can be made. Apart from the funnels, it does have a handheld beam saber and a rifle, and the V-fin can be put onto the normal Core Gundams if you remove the V-fin and the head crest. It's appropriately named as it is not necessarily something new, hence it being a fake new Gundam, and it does work wonderfully on all Core Gundams, so go ahead and make a Core Gundam variant that is not just for show. Onto the Rize armors, starting with the Anima Rize Armor. It can be attached onto both core hangers and it looks decent on both of them. However, in canon, the armor is summoned upon the Core Gundam Rize. Its name is a portmanteau of animal and the pilot's name Rize due to the animal theme, especially because of Rize's love for animals, the emblems in the limbs, and the beam rifle that is said to be shaped like a tusk. On top of that, it does have a shield on the arm that can be stored in the basket. If not, the shoulder, arm, and leg armor pieces could separate and be used to fight on their own, known as Rize machines, adopting the personality of their respective animals, so they are quite the handful on the battlefield. Finally, it has the ability to unleash the finisher move, Anima Rampage, an energy surge for the animal emblems charged with energy from the surroundings and washing the enemy over with beam auras when discharged. The Anima Rize armor evidently works best on Rize, but others do look alright with it, save for with a tad too few strong assets to allow the armor to suit them perfectly. The silhouette though, that is perfect for a custom build. Finally, the On-Rize armor. It operates on its own as the armor parts consist of only the arm and leg attachments and the body of the dummy as the backpack. It looks odd, but it does have a few tricks up its sleeve upon docking. For instance, switching between the Gundam On-Rize power and Gundam On-Rize speed, and the ability to unleash the finisher move known as On-Rush Crash upon equipping all 4 limb attachments, combining power and speed to unleash a flurry of powerful punches while dashing around at unfathomable speeds. The name seems random though, as the closest I got for a definition for On is Spanish for yet. Nothing relating to shadows, which is what the On-Rize armor is designed to be, the shadow of the Core Gundam Rize. Evidently though, the armor can hide itself in the shadows like a ninja, on top of blitzing around, punching people to submission, and kicking an Ifrit in the balls, while the power form could use its arm extensions as punching gloves and flamethrowers, and the speed form is evidently used for boosting the Gundam's speed. Due to the lack of body armor, there is no way it would look bad with anything, as there is barely any colors to clash with the Core Gundams. Besides, with the leftover pieces from the high-grade Gundam Anima Rize kit, you can combine those with the On-Rize armor for your own original custom. Or, you can have it run around separate from your Core Gundam, kicking everyone it sees in the pelvis, discombobulating them. And that wraps up the Core Gundam Cosmetic compilation. I'll end it with an apology as it took longer than needed to get this out, so I am deeply sorry for taking this long. And if Bandai decides to get a move on and make the Dubious Arc, Reverse Turn X, and AXA Rize armors, the compilation will be in their respective reviews, then maybe a follow-up compilation video featuring everything if the designers decide that they're done with the Core Gundam. But anyways, that's all for this video. Share your thoughts on what armor works best with what Core Gundams in the comments below, drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more Gunpla reviews, Gunpla news, and the like. Turn on notifications for future content alerts if you haven't, and I'll see you all next time. Hang loose and peace out.